Good afternoon, Eva. I want to take a moment here and review the little discussion we had the other day about your golf swing, kind of where you're at, what you're doing, and some things we might be able to improve upon, maybe look at a couple things, and have a little discussion here. So as we take a look here, this is you getting ready to hit the ball with the driver. Now, just so happened, as we discussed here, you said that this is initially was at this point was doing pretty well and was what was working the best for you at the time. Now, one of the things I want to take a look at here, and I'm going to get started here initially in the beginning, was a sec took, and we sat there and we were like, well, wait a second, let's take a look at your grip here. What we saw initially was your hands, the V, or basically, oh, actually, let me get a little more basic. When you place your hands on the golf club, what happens? Your index finger and your thumb on both hands form a V. Okay? Right here and right here. Ideally in the golf swing, what we'd like to see is that both these V's are pointing the same direction. And by that, when they point the same direction, it allows us to be in a position for our hands to, when we go to take the club back, to operate together, so the hands and forearms rotate back, they go to the top of the golf swing, and then they come down, they turn through, and they go through the golf ball, through impact, and to the top of the golf swing. So essentially, when the V's here are going the opposite directions, the hands want to fight one another. So when they fight one another, initially one hand will tend to dominate over the other. Now, when we watch your golf swing here on the left-hand side, to me, right there at the beginning, you can almost see how your right hand, and kind of watch your right shoulder kind of just, and your spine, and here's your spine. Here's your initial position of where your spine is. Watch how everything moves back to the right-hand side. It's like that right hand is kind of pulling it back. We get to the top of the golf swing. Right hand's picking the club up. As we come forward, our body moves back to the left-hand side. Club head makes contact with the ball. One thing I think you do well here is you keep turning that lower body, and that is great. That's a great move that a lot of new golfers or individuals that are starting out don't necessarily have as they come down and come through. Now, what you've been able to do and what you have here, you've got great hand-eye coordination. I think you work very well getting the club back. You get the weight turned back behind the golf ball, then you turn down and you turn through. Now, if I get real technical, just let me know by chance, you know. But as we look here, this is a little bit more, when I get back to your grip here, this is a little bit more of what I want to see. You can see in this position where your V's, essentially here and here, are a little bit closer than what we see over here on the right-hand side. Let me redraw that with the black. Okay. You definitely see where they're a little bit better, or a little bit better position than where we see on the right-hand side. So now the hands can effectively work a little bit better together rather than what we see on the right-hand side. Now, as we go back to your golf swing, this is what we're going to look at here. I'm going to kind of get back out and get into a different view here. What I wanted to show you here is initially going to be your setup. Okay, now when we talk about your setup, what I want to show you, like I said, was your spine angle here was very on top of the golf ball. And when I say very on top of the golf ball, I'm going to use, we can use anyone from, let's see here. Well, actually, Michelle Wee is actually the only one I have that is, that's initially on the heads-on or face-on view. Everyone else I have, like I have, you know, I have Annika, I have Suzanne Peterson, you know, I have Lexi Thompson. Lexi Thompson's head-on, but it's a iron view, and we'll discuss that later on. I have Carrie Webb down the line. So initially with this, we're going to go with Michelle Wee with you, and then I want to show you here. Here's your setup. Here's your spine angle. Here's Michelle's spine angle with the driver. All right, so what are we trying to do with the driver? Less loft. We've got to allow, as we turn through and come through the ball, we want to get that ball up in the air. With you, you're a little bit more on top of what they call on top of the ball, meaning that the spine angle is almost straight up and down or a little to the left here compared to being back behind the ball like we see Michelle. Now, essentially too, ball position up or just inside that left foot. Great position here, so you get a gold star for that one. Now, when we look here is the difference when we go to take the golf club back, what I want to show you is right here. You can see Michelle start to set the clubs, and that's where her hand, you can kind of see a little difference here. And when I say you see a little bit of a difference, she's starting to set the golf club, and when I say set the golf club, I mean creating an angle as we see right here. By creating an angle, like we see, that sets or makes a right angle with the left wrist as you take the golf club back. We can see with yourself here, as you take it back with the right hand, put the hand almost in the exact same position that we see Michelle's in. You know, we can see here and right there. Big difference right there. So that's one position where we generate power. You know, the golf swing is about angles, levers, different positions to try to create some club head speed and into some torque, some turning of the body as well. Now, which obviously, like I said before, I think you do very well at as you come back and come through. Now, as you take the golf club up, you can see where your shoulders have turned here on the left-hand side, which you can see right here. It's close to Michelle, but you know, yours are about right here as we turn back. So you see as you go up. Now this is a point that I wanted to point out to you here. I'm going to erase both of these. Is we're going to draw a little circle around Michelle's head. Okay? We draw a little circle around Michelle's. We're going to draw a little circle around yours. Now watch what happens, the difference here. Watch Michelle turn up. Watch Eva turn up. Okay, Eva turns up. Her body moves back to the right-hand side. You know, kind of moves a little more off our original position. And what can happen, that can cause some inconsistencies in the swing back and forth. So, second, as we look here, look at the difference of how Michelle's left arm is a little straighter here, and there's that right angle, compared to here, here, then here. Big difference between those two. We've created two levers compared to only having one. Now as Michelle goes to come down, we see those hands fall down. We're creating a little lag is what they call, where the club starts to bow behind you. We can see those right hips starting to turn. Hands coming in. There's that lag still here. Still some lag. There's still some angle on the ball. Then impact. Okay? But what you can see in this case here is you can see how our body, we held on to that set position, creating that lag, creating that position. Now watch, as we watch yourself here, you can see you're here. There's that right hand starting to take hold. And right here, we've got a little bit of a wrist set. Now we're losing our wrist set. Big difference between what we see with Michelle in this position here and position where you've made impact. The two of you look very similar in this case as far as getting that right hip cleared and getting that position, but you know, you can see the drive of the right leg down and through. That looks good. But you started releasing your power as you started coming down and the body started moving to the left. Michelle here, you can see how she turns up, she hits her position, creates the lag, lets the hands fall down in position, turns down, turns through, and the head and body do not come up till her hands are almost back around. Compared to here, you come up, about a very similar thing. So, what I would initially work on here with you is getting a little bit better takeaway, trying to get the body, you know, in a little bit better position as we take the club back, a little better position with the arms as we get to the top of the swing. Just trying to allow you a little bit better consistently, or a little bit, you know, try to simplify it a little bit to where it's a little bit easier as you take the club back and as you come through. Okay? Second position, I'm going to do a brief discussion of it here. We're going to watch it here, and then we'll go right into it. Here, what we talked about here was one very upright here, arms out away from you dramatically. Okay? Thus a turn, because you're very upright, tends to get the weight back to the heels rather than being up on the balls of our feet. And ideally that's where we'd like to see things time after time. So what we're going to show you here is, and I'll show you one gentleman here as we look at things. But let's see here. Here's Adam Scott with an iron. Brant Snedeker. If you're watching the Masters, very similar type of thing. You know, when we look at Brant here, look at the difference between one, his angle of his body coming up here compared to yourself. Okay? The arms coming out of the way comparing to be just a little more underneath the body. Okay? Now watch as you take the club back. We're here. Right hand picking the club up because we see the face of the club being closed dramatically. As Brant takes it back, very similar position to Michelle, creating that wrist hinge as the club is going up and around. That's what we want to see. Great position with you. Get to the top, hip turn, body turn, but trying to get back into position as you come down and through. That's what you're working on there. Brant, enough said. As we come in, he gets a little, hands come down, body turns through, hits a good tee shot as he walks out there. So these are just a few things that we discussed. Big things obviously was that of your grip. Two, I think you know, working on your takeaway and a little more turn to the top might be a position we talk about. Two, then vice versa. I want to make sure that you're on track as you come down and through impact and through towards the ball. So if you have any questions, by all means, give me a call, 314-724-6539, or shoot me an email at michaelwyattgolf@gmail.com. Thank you, Eva.